Okay, hi everybody. It's Neve here from our customer success team, and we're also joined by Luke from our marketing team as well. So we're delighted to be speaking with you all this morning or this evening or wherever parts of the world you are. I'm going to hand over quickly to Luke because we have an awful lot of exciting things to talk about today, which hopefully will be really, really insightful just as you're starting off using Glofox and whether you're a brand new business or relaunching given everything with the pandemic, then this is definitely the webinar that you want to kind of pay attention to. Is that right, Luke?
Yeah, exactly. Hi, folks. I'm Luke from the product marketing team here at Glofox, and today we're going to be running through our top tips for attracting new clients, building a loyal client base, and improving or driving sales with Glofox. This is tailored a little for our newer clients, but we're pretty sure there's lots of useful information in here for anyone, so you'll definitely benefit from sticking around. In terms of an agenda, then. We'll kick off with a quick chat about the importance of persistence and consistency, as well as how the most effective growth strategy is often not the most glamorous. Then we'll be chatting about the tips to attract new clients, including the importance of a consistent brand experience, leveraging social media, optimizing your website, and ensuring that your lead capture strategy is indeed full funnel. We'll then look at strategies for building loyalty, such as creating a personalized client experience, incentivizing and rewarding your existing clients, having a clear communication strategy, and really understanding your client base. Finally, we'll be talking about all things sales, including the benefits of the hybrid business model, which we've talked about a lot in the past, promoting different memberships and store offerings to your existing clients, and making sure that you have the right tech to power your business. And then finally, we'll also have some additional material to complement everything we speak about today in this webinar that we can point you towards at the end, as well as some question time. So if you do have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat and we'll cover them at the end.
Brilliant. Yes, and we're always a big fan of the questions, so please do. Even if we don't, we may answer them throughout the webinar, but definitely pop them into the chat and we'll do our best to run through them all at the end. So as Luke said, some of the fanciest and kind of most glamorous strategies for building growth aren't always usually the best ones, or may take up an awful lot of time, and definitely it's not just an overnight success growth. And looking at acquiring your leads and nurturing them and converting them, it's a daily process. And while that may seem somewhat of a negative note to start on, it's very much a realistic part of it. But that doesn't mean that everything that you have to do in terms of your growth strategies, from acquiring your leads to nurturing and retaining them, it doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to have tons of bells and whistles. It can be really, really simple, novel stuff, but it's effective and it works. So I guess our main point here is really for you guys not to be too overwhelmed or to be duped a little bit by these sometimes these articles or these comments or posts that say that if you do these 5 things, you're going to see overnight success and all of this kind of stuff. And while there may be some really valid points in those, we're not discouraging those. They're definitely worthwhile to look into. It's not to expect that immediate result, because sometimes those really big success stories, you may not hear of the actual kind of hustle and bustle that had to be done to get to that point. So that's why hopefully as we go through this webinar, you'll see that while we may not have like the perfect strategy for you, or you may not come away with this saying, oh yeah, now I know how to do everything. Even if you just take 1, 2, or 3 things from this webinar to hopefully get you kick started, then that's what we really want to do here. And I think Luke kind of mentioned it before, these are all really kind of high level elements of these kind of growth strategies, and we have specific content on each one of these kind of stages. So do reach out to us if you have any questions. But again, you're not trying to reinvent the wheel. You're not trying to kind of make something that's never been done before. Sometimes I've worked both in onboarding and now in customer success, and some of the best and most successful businesses that I've worked with have been really, really simple. They haven't complicated it. They've kept it really, really straightforward. And that's because it resonated with their member base. So, it's important to think about that by not going too wild with your strategies, but also to think about, retention as well. So, there's tons of ways that you can make sure that you can acquire leads, but sometimes it's important to focus on who you have. And, they're definitely, there's a lot to say in just actually looking after and nurturing your existing client base. And more often not, they're the ones, because they're already aware of your business model, who you are, your ethos, your business. they are loyal to you, so they're the ones that are more than likely going to kind of move up to the next membership or to the upgraded platform, for example. So just kind of think of that as well, that definitely why it's important not to let those leads kind of slip away, and try and, I guess, through Glofox, you'll have different means to kind of automate those things and fully optimize it so you can focus on retention, but just be mindful to focus of the whole kind of picture as well. So with that, I'll pass it over to you, Luke, and you can run through some of our ways that we can like attract new clients.
Totally, yeah. So yeah, one of our first kind of topics today is about attracting new clients, and I think one of the most important pieces of this is a consistent brand image, or the importance of a consistent brand experience across all of your channels. So there's a few things you want to consider here when you're thinking about a consistent brand image, and the first thing is all about value first. You know, in every communication with prospective clients, you want to be focused on creating value for them. So that they know what to expect from your brand going forward, and they can anticipate a high quality service based off the value you're giving for free. This could be fitness tips, nutritional advice, or the occasional free class. You know, whether it's an email, Instagram post, or new page in your website, focus on creating value for your customers so they associate that with your brand, and they can expect that then when they go to being an actual paying customer. The second thing then is about being, having this unified voice. So no matter what channel you're using, your brand should look the same, sound the same, and feel the same. This helps build a sense of trust and reliability over time, and on top of that, you want to make sure that your staff are describing your offering in the same terms, that you don't have different people describing what you do in differently. You want to create that unified voice. You also want to get visual. So if you have a brand package, if you have a color scheme, your logo, whatever, use this branding anywhere you can, whether it's on marketing or sales material that you're putting out there, just to maintain that consistency, because it definitely helps attract people to your brand. You also want to consider having a content schedule. It's fairly straightforward, but it's so crucial. You want to have a calendar of planned content, basically, so that your audience gets used to a regular cadence of information from your brand. But don't be afraid to mix it up as well. But you definitely want that kind of consistent content going out on a weekly or monthly basis, so people can kind of build that trust in seeing this information coming from your brand on a regular basis. And then the final thing that we always tell our customers is you want to go to where your client is. So whether it's Reddit forums on fitness, Facebook group perhaps, or a webinar that you might be able to even join, like a co-marketing partnership with another gym, or perhaps like a fitness software or something like that that you're using. You want to be able to get involved in all of the community activities that your customers are already involved in, and help spread that consistent brand message and brand image about what you're offering, and that creates trust in your brand when it comes to fitness. So it's super important, and it helps attract new clients, of course.
And I quite like that last piece as well, Luke, because I think it's something that we've definitely seen an awful lot of people become a lot more innovative since COVID-19. People,
totally.
Their main, let's say, ways of kind of acquiring new leads, or finding new members has disappeared like overnight.
Yeah,
so
no, totally.
Really kind of I guess aspirational and kind of entrepreneurial I guess tasks or actions from some of our customers, where they've joined like wellness chats, and it could just be promoting an online class that they're doing. So still, again, as Lucas said, everything about your brand, just because now maybe it's online, doesn't mean it's any different. So it's really
exactly
to keep enforcing that. But yeah, I think that's just something to kind of point out, that there's so many different ways that you can still go to your clients, even if your main kind of, I guess, hub or arena of finding new members has disappeared.
Exactly. You want to imagine yourself as like a door-to-door salesperson, but you're online now,
Yeah.
So just get out there wherever you can.
Absolutely.
Then the second kind of piece that we're going to cover in terms of attract new clients is, of course, something that's so important here is leveraging social media. It's a free tool most of the time that you can really use to convert a lot of high quality leads. It's an excellent way to attract new clients, and it's a channel that a lot of your prospects, they're already spending their time anyway, especially during lockdown when they've got more time in their hands and they're indoors more. So the kind of key points to this are you want to be on the right platforms. So using a multiple mix of platforms whether that's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever your medium is, maybe even TikTok if you're on that yet. So you want to be able to use the multiple platforms, but double down on the ones where your message really resonates. So if it is your Instagram, double down on that. If your audience prefers to use Facebook, then you really want to invest a lot of time into that platform, because it's where your niche is. So you really want to make sure that you're thinking about where is the right platform to reach your customers. And then on top of that, obviously you want to make sure that you're sending out the right message. So make sure that anywhere that you do have an online presence in terms of social media, that your profile is up to date and it has all the information to make it as easy as possible for your prospects to sign up and to understand what it is exactly you're offering. Wherever you can, have clear calls to actions, include maybe sign up links in your bio, whether that's on Instagram or Facebook, and make your content interactive. Perhaps on Instagram they've the amazing ability to be able to shop via post. So if you have an online store, perhaps you integrate that shoppable posts into your social media, and it makes the experience so much easier for your clients. And it also just means that you're obviously attracting more business there, where your clients are more likely to be spending their time. And of course, through your social media, you want to be able to promote your online offerings. So if you have online classes, etc., make sure that you are selling these through the messages that you're putting out there on your social. Then in terms of incentives that you can share on your social media, you could put any of your special offers up there. If you have discount codes, if you run something like a refer a friend program, or you want to promote gated content, you can use social media. It's a fantastic place to promote any of these kind of incentives to get started with your business. You also want to think about social media, any of the platforms that you use. Is like they're essentially a direct line to your customers. There's no middleman really, so you can get direct feedback maybe from dealing directly with your customers on here, maybe via polls or something like that in your stories, or reach out to individual customers or prospects in DMs, and make sure you're being responsive in the comment section of any posts that you put up. It's really important to have that direct kind of constant line of communication with these prospects and indeed customers. And then finally, you don't want to obviously be bringing all of your leads in via paid, but it is an extremely effective way to drive new leads, is basically paid social media advertising. So if you haven't already, you might want to experiment with this. It just means setting up the likes of a Facebook pixel. You can find tons of information of this online, but it basically means that you can keep track of any of the audiences that are following any of your accounts and target similar audiences on the Facebook and Instagram platforms and beyond with your advertisements on social. So it's a great way to attract new clients there as well that match your demographic.
Absolutely, and I think just I guess piggybacking off that as well, it's such an important, and kind of, if you are a brand new business and you don't know who your audience is, or you haven't built out that robust kind of member base yet, then sometimes paid advertising, while it can be a little bit of trial and error, those trial and errors are definitely going to at least open up some I guess doors, so that you can see who your member demographic is, what's working, what's not. I mean, if the majority of your members are in between 40 and 60, then a 21-year-old weightlifting isn't going to be relevant to them. So
Exactly.
You're going to find out all of these things as you go on. So definitely, have courage. Don't be afraid to do it. It's I know it may seem as this massive unknown, but the benefits are really I guess powerful for your business. And again, if you don't try, how are you meant to know what's working, what's not? So definitely
Exactly.
important things to kind of focus on. And this kind of comes back to, let's say, your website, because you mentioned a Facebook pixel there, Luke, and that's something that we can support with our integrations in Glofox. So if you don't know what we're referencing there, like, loop in with your onboarding manager or even our customer success team. The entire business is here to support you. So do loop in with them to get a better idea, because that actually takes up information and data. Even whenever you're not actually using it, it's still going to attract and kind of find out what footfall is landing on your website.
Exactly.
And even with that, it's going to kind of be a little bit of an indicator as well to see what pages of your website are working. I mean, Luke and I are probably too obsessed about websites at the moment, where we
Yeah.
just look at a website and we're like, oh goodness, what's happening here? And we get like really, really particular and probably OCD about some of websites. But sometimes you look at a website and it's really difficult to navigate. You don't know like what your next step is meant to be. So when we're saying, have an easy call to action, what we mean is have a very clear indicator of this is what you're meant to click, this is what you're meant to do. So if you didn't know like what that was all about or what we're really referencing here, it's trying to make it as seamless and as easy as possible for your clients to sign up. So, we've built out different platforms or different means that you can do that through free trials or paid trials. And that's what we reference when we say lead capture forms. It can take a client or a prospect from being a nobody to actually registered and booked into your platform and booked into your business in around maybe 90 seconds. So that's an extremely powerful kind of tool to have. And if you want to learn more about that, you can let us know. And if you don't, then we're still there to ensure that your website is fully integrated and set up with a best solution or best integration for the most optimal conversion. So do reach out to us. Your onboarding managers and ourselves in customer success are well acquainted to working with website to see what looks, and maybe just to give you some examples of what we've seen to be like really effective for certain businesses. This is kind of a demo platform that we're looking at here, but essentially you can see immediately what my call to action or what my next incentive is. So you might have worked so hard between a Facebook ad, between whatever type of other advertisement that you're using to bring me to this spot. And if I'm now searching absolutely everywhere to find out where's the calendar, where's this, what am I meant to do, it's going to be a nightmare and I'm gone. So, it's really important here to have, let's say, all of these kind of book your free classes and so on, where you have that free trial. You have a clear indicator here of, let's say, what your class timetable is. This is can be, I think my cache is playing up on me here, but this can be seen with one of our actual customers, Uber Shape. So you can see immediately that as soon as I arrive onto this website, that I have my free 7-day trial. So again, apologies, my cache is playing up on me. That's the joy of a live demo. But you can see immediately that as soon as I arrive onto this page, that I know what my next step is going to be. And even if I'm already a member and I land here, it's very clear that my timetable, my classes, and so on is very, very clear. So those are a few examples of, let's say, what can work. And if you have already your website set up and you want to have a second pair of eyes on it, absolutely, do reach out, do get to learn and see what other people are doing. It's always best to kind of base it off what other people are doing as well, but still keeping true to yourself. And I think if you want to ever reach out to us and so for us to have a quick look at it and give, and if you're open to feedback, then definitely loop in with us. Some of the other things that we're focusing here on time promotion is, making sure that if you you can have either pop-ups, you can make sure that if you have any kind of running campaigns, that you have at least everything connected to those to bring you to their website for that. And then from that point, then have a really easy conversion piece. If it's the case you have your website enabled, and maybe for some of you, you haven't reopened yet, or you're closed because of governmental restrictions and because of the pandemic, you still want to have at least means that they can contact you or find out some information. Some people do like to kind of pick up a phone or send a message through Instagram or Facebook or a text or whatever it may be. So make sure that you have all of those kind of touch points and those contact options available, and that they're possible all over your website. Again, you're kind of wanting to almost spam your website with it, but in a really, nice and user-friendly way. And then finally, with your data. So as I mentioned, in some of these places on our web integration, you're able to start collecting data. So you can use this then going forward for any future advertisements. So for example, with our insights or advanced reporting feature, you can find out where all of your referrals are coming from. So through the lead capture form, so that form I was referencing just now, you can find out whether someone's come from Facebook or from Instagram or from a friend. And with these advanced reports, you'll actually be able to find out where the majority of your referrals are coming from. So while it seems quite obvious, that type of information is so powerful in terms of your next steps of who to contact, particularly if you don't know who your target audience is. This is going to give you a little bit more information about your age demographics, who they are, and who to contact going forward. So again, we really, I can't stress enough how much I nerd out about over a website, which is super shameful to admit, but I really do. So please do reach out to us. I know it's not just me and the team. So please do reach out to us if you have any questions on that. And this kind of, I guess, does pull on from our to our next point about, let's say, if you don't know who your audience is, or if you are attracting new clients, where to start. So generally, like before I work with any kind of customer, I need to find out like what's their plan, what's their goal, what is the overall picture here, because the majority of people do focus on, right, how do I get new leads? How do I get this? And it's just about that very, very beginning of the funnel. And absolutely, that's important. I'm not disputing that. But I think the following steps and the cadences that you have then after are just as important. So if it's the case that you are doing some kind of advertising and you want to just try and get a general feel for who may be interested, you can just put out whatever kind of type of campaign and keep a general awareness of your audience. And that way then you may have some people who are interested and that will funnel through then. And as you kind of go down that kind of funnel or that kind of sales track, you'll get to kind of tailor and specify a little bit more who you're focusing and targeting on. And again, all of this is information and data that you can use for future campaigns. And once you do know that, what they're interested in, what their needs are, whether you can actually support them, you want to have a very easy means of conversion. So this doesn't have to be super manual. You can start off with a general kind of Facebook advertisement, keep it super broad within the fitness kind of, I guess, industry, and then kind of track anybody that is attracted by that, kind of filter them down then with your own business, kind of model your ethos and then what they're interested in, picking up the phone and contacting them, kind of general kind of sales elements. And then making sure then at the final stage that you have an easy means to actually convert. So that could be through the lead capture form that we showed. It could be just be manually setting them up with a consultant, and doing a one-to-one session, whatever it may be. So very much if you don't know where to start wide and then kind of drill down a little bit more. But as long as you have those plans in place for whenever you do start wide, that you do have those support systems in place to kind of bring it in a little bit more. And what I mean by that is having your clear messaging, having your brand kind of really, really powerful, having a call to action, having a conversion piece. Those are really important. Again, each customer is different, so you might maybe like the one size fits all approach isn't going to work here. So have a few things up your sleeve where you do know that if this isn't what they're looking for, that you can also support them here. Many times you are a jack of all trades, so do make sure that you have those little kind of pieces in place, because not everybody might fall in line or might respond to the same type of kind of communication, sales strategy, whatever that may be. So just make sure that you have like different elements that are tailored for each kind of, I guess, member base. And then I guess the main thing is kind of set clear goals. Often there's nothing more frustrating whenever you're speaking with a customer and they just want to do the moon and the stars, and that's absolutely fine. Have very realistic and set goals. So maybe this month it's to try and get 10 leads or 15 leads in, or convert 3, 4, 5 people into memberships, whatever that may be. But keep it realistic, keep it clear, and keep that at the forefront of every single piece of your stage. So, you want to make sure that that message isn't kind of being lost, and that at the end of the day, all of the work that you're doing is still going to reach and have that target. And then finally, once you do convert your client, once you do get them into your business, that doesn't mean that your funnel stops. It often kind of starts again from just the opposite way, where you do have a lot more management to do. You're nurturing them a little bit more. You're working on building that trust. Like they've already trusted you a little bit. Now you need to expand on that and that a bit more as well. So again, this may seem really overwhelming, or it may seem really, really simple, straightforward if you've done this plenty of times before. But it's important to refresh the basics here. That keep it simple, have a goal in place, stick to it. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and tailor it for next time. And it's all about kind of learning there. But the goal then is that once you have kind of filtered everybody through that funnel, that you then have a really kind of strong member base who are going to be advocates for you going forward on what works. So it's important to use that as well. But again, that kind of needs to be focused on whenever you're looking at retention. So those are a few
Totally.
Yeah. Sorry, let's carry on.
No, I was going to say that actually leads us into our next piece, which is all about retention. It's all about building loyalty. Neve Neve was talking about there about the the importance of the funnel and the importance of obviously driving new leads to your business, and that is obviously crucial to keep any healthy business going. But what a lot of businesses miss is that actually retention is so crucial. When you look at the stats on acquiring versus retaining customers, acquiring a new customer can cost up to 5 times more than retaining an existing customer. So from the numbers alone, it makes sense to put a lot of effort into the customers that you already have. That doesn't mean you ignore generating new business, but it means that look, you've put all that effort in, so now's the time to really double down on these guys that are in your door. And one of the biggest focuses here is on building loyalty to increase your retention rate over time, and that'll help you maintain healthy growth over the long term. So one of the most important pieces I think about how you actually go about building loyalty is this kind of what we describe as like the personalized customer journey. So the customer has kicked off with your brand, and you want to make sure that they don't feel like they're just another cog in the wheel of your business, that they're actually that they actually matter and that you care about their business. So one of the things that we always stress to our customers is to get personal with their clients. So this means any communication that you have, make sure it's personalized to the individual client. If you can, that maybe you engage in one-on-one time with your clients, that can have a huge impact on loyalty, as it makes them feel important, and makes it feel like your brand, your business cares about their goals and their fitness goals. Then you also want to think about maybe tailored growth plans. So putting together fitness templates, perhaps that could be tailored on the fly to different types of customers. Everyone's got different fitness goals, but perhaps you put together a sequence of different templates that could match different customers, and then tailor them on the fly to make them a little bit more personal, and then checking in with them at regular intervals to know that they have the support and keep them motivated. So you're constantly engaging, constantly checking in. So crucial to keep them engaged and help build that loyalty there. And then I think something that isn't sold enough is like going above and beyond that. Think about the last time you had a wow moment with a business that you were a customer with, and how that made you feel, that when you were like, Jesus, they definitely didn't need to do that. You want to think about how you can create these wow moments for your customers, how you can emulate that feeling with your clients. So whether that's like sending them maybe a free gift like swag, or phoning them, even just check in on the fly, these personal touches that go above and beyond their expectations really do help create a long-lasting relationship with your business, and most importantly, increases repeat customer over the long term. So it's all about growing your business over the long term. And then another piece about building loyalty is what we think about in terms of incentives and rewards. So constantly bringing people back to your brand, and creating a deeper connection there, and you can do that via incentives and rewards. So whether that's something like maybe you get loud about your clients' achievements. So obviously we're in the fitness business here, so their success is your success. So celebrate them when they do reach their goals, when they do reach a milestone. And maybe that's in the form of giving them a shout out on social media or in your newsletter, with their permission, of course. But that can really go a long way to making people feel like you appreciate them, and just gives them a good feeling that they've hit their goals, and they associate that with your brand. So it goes a long way to kind of help increase loyalty there. You might even consider sending them a gift for hitting a certain milestone, or some even of branded swag. So your own kind of, maybe it's like a hoodie or a t-shirt or something like that with your brand on it. It's a gift, but it's also then representing you're almost making them a brand ambassador, but also rewarding them at the same time, which is great. You might even consider actually implementing like a loyalty program. So consider implementing this as part of your maybe it's your online store, or you're in tandem with your classes. So after a certain amount of purchases, your customers could get a freebie or a free class or a discount on future purchases, that kind of thing. Loyalty programs can be great. People appreciate that. You're almost like you're gaming the system in a way, and they can be rewarded that way over time. And then I think that one of the most important things is keeping things exciting. So you could consider using the community section of the Glofox member app. It's fantastic to post challenges. So like maybe it's like a 50 squats a day for a week, or running competitions to engage more clients. It's a great way to encourage your members and create energy around that relationship with your brand. And there could be rewards. So say for instance, like the member attending the most classes in in March could win like $100 or €100 in account balance with your gym or studio. So it's just a fantastic way to kind of keep it circular and keep them coming back to your brand, but also creating excitement and creating a buzz, and that helps build that loyalty with your brand,
Absolutely.
which
And I
is so
think
important.
it's so important. And I think one of the newest kind of features that we release with our insights or advanced reporting is that metric of like your 10 most and least active clients. So, while everybody kind of sometimes focuses on the least active clients or even like the most active clients, it's somewhat of an encouraging piece for those that, let's say, aren't active and maybe are only attending once or twice. It might give them that little bit of encouragement to be like, oh, do you know what? I really, really want that €100. I really, really want this. So it can work almost as free advertising by, or free kind of marketing by kind of really looking after your existing member base as well. So again, hopefully our sentiment or our message of, not only looking at like acquiring new leads, but also focusing on your existing member base is just as important. And some ways to do that is by, keeping clear communication. I mean, you don't want, I guess, that image of just constantly trying to find new leads and constantly trying to promote them with this certain type of discounted intro membership, and then absolute crickets for your existing member base. So what we've seen to be really, really helpful are those like either daily messages or daily push notifications, or as Luke said, those incentives and goals on the member app and so on to try and keep customers engaged. I know we've seen some of our most successful customers here in Glofox, jump to social media and have, messages going on a daily basis, check-ins. But they're also, quite clear to be like, what, we're taking a day off for our mental health, for this, that, and the other. So they're human, and it's okay to be human in your communication. But just to kind of keep that consistent as well. So whether it's you don't want to do these massive big essays, these kind of simple, clear messages work. A text a day will work, with our SMS feature. What we've seen is kind of around a lower drop of kind of booking cancellations or membership cancellations for those who have opted into SMS. And I know for me, if I get a text these days, it's a miracle. So, I'm definitely opening it. So those open rates with SMS are extremely strong. So you know that it's going to have more of an impact on your clients as well. And one of the things that I'm really, really, I guess, an advocate for is mixing up your channels of communication. For me, if somebody keeps going through email, it may not work. It may not be what your members resonate to, but at the same time, you don't want to kind of pigeonhole yourself into one specific type of communication channel either. So mix it up. Sometimes you might send push notifications, you might send an SMS, you might send an email, you might jump onto social media, a post, and so on. And that's absolutely brilliant. I think dabbling into those different things is great, as long as you keep your brand, your message, your tone of your business consistent throughout it all. And that's kind of, I guess, tying us all back into one of our very first points that we made this morning, or this evening, wherever about you are, where to keep your brand and your voice consistent. And something that Luke kind of already alluded to as well, but it's be responsive. So if somebody's messaging you, you want to try and get back to them relatively kind of quickly. It may work as somewhat of your, I guess, a key reason to go to your business, that you do get back to them immediately and you are kind of, I guess, responsive in all of your communications. So again, that's something to think about whenever you are kind of setting up those opportunities for a client to reach out and touch base with you, to make sure that you do get back to them in a prompt manner. And because at the moment, customer service is absolutely kind of everything at the moment. And as Luke said before, whenever you get those wow moments, it really stands and sticks with you. So kind of being responsive can be a key player in that as well. And then I guess knowing your clients here, it's definitely all about, I guess, getting to know who your members are and building out that loyalty. So Luke mentioned before, it's all about doing those like one-to-ones and getting to find out like what they're interested in, what they need. And sometimes I find if it's the case that you're a one-person show and you're the one running absolutely everything, it's easy for you to do that, and you can kind of say, oh, I know this and this, and that's absolutely fine. But if you have a team with you, sometimes those little bits of information that a client may share can fall through the cracks. So if you're on, let's say, our platinum plan, there's a means for you to track all of your interactions with your customer and to know, let's say, what I said to a customer or what Luke said to a customer. And that way then I'm able to pick up exactly where Luke left off. And that will really, really stand and stay true to your customer because they know you're listening. Everything that they're saying isn't falling on deaf ears and that your business really cares. So just making sure that you are kind of trying and doing your best to kind of keep that loyalty and whenever and keeping that, I guess, understanding of who your customers are whenever you are getting to know your customers. Um, some of the ways that you can do this, if it's the case you don't want to go through that personal approach, because obviously it can take quite a bit of time, is using data and getting to find that out, because that will give you that little bit of an edge. It will give you that little bit of help. You will be able to find out, oh, okay, I see that you came from Instagram or that you heard about us from this, that, and the other. So, use the data that's there. And again, we have built out a really robust reporting and insights feature and analytical feature that will allow you to track who your member demographic is, get to understand the trends of, let's say, your leads or your members, what's working, what's not. And that information, nowadays is absolutely crucial. And again, if you are super kind of nervous and scared and you've never approached that side of your business before, that's totally okay. But it's definitely one worthwhile to invest and look into because it will help you going forward to make smarter business decisions. And at the end of the day, that's kind of what you are all about, is to make sure that your customers are happy, but that you're doing it. You're working not just harder, but smarter. And that's what it's all about. So those are kind of the things that you want to kind of look at whenever you are building your loyalty.
Totally, yeah. So then, in terms of our kind of our final topic today, we've touched on new clients, we've touched on existing clients, and when it comes down to it, it's all about driving sales and business. So one of the main things that we always promote to our customers is the importance of this hybrid fitness business or this hybrid fitness model. It's the bread and butter, and if you don't have this set up now, it's really the time to do it. When we are in lockdowns and the in-person offering isn't business as usual. It's about basically having an offline and online offering and trying to make both of them as seamless as possible, so that your customers can have a basically a very similar brand experience regardless of whether they're in person or online. So we would always recommend to our customers to operate this hybrid fitness model, and it just means the ability to be able to switch between offering a real world fitness services in your gym or studio and providing online classes through an easy to use customer portal. Basically being adaptable, and the bottom line here is you want to be able to do business regardless of the environmental conditions. So if you don't have this set up right now, it's a good time to do so. And that kind of leads us into the second point, is about a lot of fitness business has been forced to go online naturally because of the pandemic, and from our research so far, the indication is that online is here to stay. That isn't to say most people don't return to in person using a physical gym or studio. That's where most people will likely move once the pandemic lifts, but there will definitely still remain a demand for some form of online offering. So it's definitely worth your time investing in this now if you haven't done so already, because it really does help you maintain sales or a certain level of sales regardless of the environmental conditions. So getting it right now means that your customers are also more likely to turn to your brand because you have that flexible offering in future should they ever require it. And then while while more people are online, it's a good opportunity to help build purchasing habits here. So while your customers are making use of your online offering, you should familiarize them with maybe other online services that you might provide. So whether that's like gated content for members only, or promotions you might be running in your online store, now is the time to work on building these purchasing habits with your clients. So when it comes to fitness purchases, they trust you as their go-to, helping to boost your sales, really. Which leads us to our next topic, which is all about promotions, cross-selling, upselling, the kind of bread and butter of sales. So there's a few things we'd recommend here. Think about something like maybe timely promotions. So keeping your sales tactics in sync with current trends. So whether it's like lockdown promos or back to school offers or special offers for holiday events, stuff like that. It's really important to kind of do these every now and then to kind of to boost that business. And for new customers, you could also consider maybe gifting free time at the start of the membership, or a free class for a limited time only at the start of their membership to convince them to sign up. Stuff like that in terms of timely promotions is really, really effective to help drive sales. I think it's also like we mentioned before in terms of retention, is about like leveraging existing clients. And as we mentioned earlier, the success rate of selling to a customer you already have is between 60 and 70%, while the success rate of selling to a new customer can be as low as 5 to 20%. So there's definitely a massive jump to when you're trying to sell to your existing customers. And while you don't want to come across as being too pushy, you can from time to time promote your other offerings or additional services to existing clients if they're looking to achieve, say, certain fitness goals and they're not using certain services to get to those goals just yet. So that might be maybe products in your store to help with their nutrition, say, or certain types of fitness classes that might aid their overall fitness on top of what they're already doing. So trying to just leverage those existing clients, they're much more likely for you to convince to make a sale, basically. And then I suppose the final piece here is like about upselling perhaps to your power users here, or providing premium services to your power users. So keeping an eye on the customers that are or your most active clients that are using your services the most. They're often the ones that are most agreeable to upselling to additional services. So you can provide to basically help take their fitness goals to the next level, or create a more enjoyable gym experience for these power users. So whether that's more advanced classes for them, or maybe it's even renting specialist training equipment to them, just to kind of make them feel like they're bringing their fitness levels to the next level, and kind of really going above and beyond, then it's a great way to take advantage of that, and provides upselling opportunity there amongst your existing customers.
I think it's also a really important piece, to kind of show how wide, let's say, your business can go. So, if it's the case that, you have these, like, as Luke said, like your power users, they probably hit the goals of maybe those that have just started, but you want to kind of keep on saying that you're constantly developing, you're constantly kind of, I guess, exploring different ways to support everybody's fitness journey. So those are kind of different things to think about as well, just making sure that you have a little bit of something for absolutely everybody. So as we kind of, I guess, draw close to our webinar and run through these kind of final pieces, I guess the important thing to think about really at the moment is that you do have a seamless kind of digital experience. And what we mean by that is just making sure that you have as many touch points as possible, and that each touch point is easy, it's user friendly, it's not going to actually deter your clients, it's going to make them want and to sign up, and that it's easy to sign up as well. And that's the main thing. The more clicks that you introduce, the less likely that they'll go and convert. So it's important to kind of think about how easy is this. And if you were a client yourself, or if you were signing up to a business, think about, would you sign up to this with the amount of effort that you've gone to go and do that? So those are little things to kind of put yourself in their shoes and see if this is actually kind of what you would actually sign up yourself. Then whenever you are, like, let's say, running all your sales campaigns, looking at what's working, looking at what's not. And again, as I said, it's okay to take risks. It's okay to kind of see what's working and what's not, and that will all be helpful information. And it's kind of coming back to that, growth isn't just going to happen in one day. I mean, I'm pretty sure that everybody's growth and, marketing strategies absolutely changed, last March, whenever everything really kicked off. So it's important to know that you kind of have to be adaptable. And, you might have different times and seasons in the year where certain strategies work and certain ones don't. And the only way that you can do that is by having data, by trial and error, and by seeing what works. And finally, it's really focusing on what your clients want. I mean, you may have the best marketing strategy in the entire world, but if it's not falling in line with what your clients want, it's absolutely redundant. So again, it's kind of coming back to that very basic, keep it simple, keep it clean, and very much kind of focus in on what your clients actually kind of want. And also making sure that your business model doesn't get lost right the way as well. So that's what we mean by keeping it simple, but keeping it relevant as well to your clients. So as we run through kind of some of our other elements, and again, as we've said, this is quite a high level element of all of this, of all of our products here and all of the different strategies, and we have specific webinars tailored on each of these sections. And so if you are interested in anything in particular, maybe you've already nailed your acquisition strategies and you want to focus on something else, touch base with us or your onboarding manager, and we can definitely look into making sure that you have that supportive content that's already kind of readily available. A question did come in, and it kind of ties in line with this slide, so I'm going to answer this here about let me just get the wording of that. Kind of how does Glofox actually help increase the clientele of a member or of a business? So overall, at the beginning, if you're looking at your kind of acquisition element, we've got means to support you through Facebook Pixels so that you can collect accurate data. You then have that option depending on how many kind of likes that you have on Facebook as well. And if you're on our platinum plan with our lead capture forms, you can integrate your lead capture form on your Facebook page. Again, you can make sure that all of your kind of social media is connected to a really well set up website integration that has Glofox embedded in it. And that can be further enhanced through our lead capture forms, and be it a free trial or a paid trial. And again, that's helping you distinguish what type of member base is going to be more kind of, I guess, popular with your type of business model. We then have the means for, let's say, easy communication. So once you've actually brought your lead into the business, you then have lead filters and client filters to actually continue managing your leads. And that they are all broken down on certain cadences, such as when the lead was created, how many bookings they made, how many attendances they actually made, which is nearly the more important figure rather than bookings, and when their lead is, or when their trial is expiring, whether it will expire, whether they have expired, whether anybody has contacted them at all. So we've really built out quite a robust means of you to actually manage your leads, and it's one of my favorite features within Glofox. From that point, then we also have a very very kind of granular and detailed reporting platform through Glofox Insights, and that will then really give you a bird's eye view of how your business is performing, but also help you drill down, specific details on between like who your members are, what memberships they're on, why they cancelled their membership, or excuse me, if they cancelled their membership, whether it was expired or cancelled. And then finally, kind of probably tying into maybe your website as well, easy marketing. If you have your own branded app, you can just send them a link to your app. You can have your own branded app as well, kind of highlighted in all of your website pages as well. So they have direct links to either your iOS or your Android app. So those are the different ways on a very high level, and probably in very kind of 1 minute kind of question of how Glofox can help increase your growth and build out your clientele. Hopefully that gave you some insight into that. There wasn't actually a name to your question, so I do apologize that I can't address you directly. But if you do have any more questions exactly on how you can build out clientele, do reach into us on customersuccess@glofox.com, because we really want to make sure that you are fully supported. So with that, just I'm very conscious that we have ran through quite a bit here, whether it's very early in the morning or very late in the evening for you. I'm sure that you're kind of like, wow, that was a lot of information, but I do hope it was helpful for you. And I know Luke and I really just wanted to kind of say that, even if you take one or two things from this webinar, that's a success. And as I said, this is kind of very much kind of you're not going to come out of this webinar with, haha, I have succeeded in my entire growth strategy. There's so many different things that you can work on here, but hopefully it's pointed you into the right direction.
Exactly.
And yeah, if you've enjoyed this, please do leave us a webinar, please do leave us a review on G2 Crowd. We would really appreciate that. And that's very much from our end. Any final words, Luke?
No, that's it. Just thanks so much, guys, for giving us your time. We really appreciate it. We hope you got some value out of this.
Yeah, listen, folks, mind yourselves and take care, and we'll speak to you on our next webinar. Thanks so much.
Thanks. See you later.
Bye.